Okay. So till yesterday we have discussed on in the last class we have discussed on functions, right? So today we are going to discuss more about functions, and so we are going to discuss on lambda functions. So there are small differences between normal functions, the predefined functions or user defined functions that we have created, and between this lambda functions there is a small difference. The only thing is that in lambda functions generally, so the function that we create will be only in a single line. Okay, so we call lambda functions or single line functions. Okay, so the code which you can be able to write in a single line, you can put that in a function. Okay, so those are only able to create as a lambda function. Okay, if you cannot write in a single line, if your code should will be exceeding more than a single line, we cannot create a lambda function if your code is exceeding more than one line. Okay, so the lambda functions are single line functions. Okay, so we are going to create lambda functions, and I'll show you how to create or what is the syntax when you create a lambda function. So normally when we are creating a function, a user defined function, we use define keyword and we write function name, and we pass the parameters if required, and colon, and then we'll write our statements, right? So this is our general syntax of a function. So this is how you write. But coming to the case of lambda function, you directly start with a variable. Okay, so here the variable is function name simply. So the variable is function name, and inside that variable you start writing your lambda functions. So whenever you are writing a lambda function, you start with a keyword called lambda. Okay, start with a keyword called lambda, and then followed by the parameters. Okay, either one or two. So parameter 1, parameter 2, and so on, if you want a number of parameters. Okay, and using these parameters I can write any function. Okay, so I can write anything, so I can simply write print also. Of course that doesn't matter, whatever the code that you write, that you want, you can print it, or you can write your own code. Okay, so this is one lambda function. So here my function name, so this variable name is itself the function name. Okay, the variable name is a function name. So when you are calling a function, so function name of, so you can see there are two parameters. It is taking two parameters, parameter 1 and parameter 2. Okay, so I'll say a comma 100, something like that. So it is just printing that a comma 100. So I just wrote print of parameter 1 and parameter 2. So that's what happening, it is writing, it is just printing it. Okay, so other than that you can do any operation, guys. Okay, if you want to do any operation you can do. So let's do a small thing. um, so let's take a range, a list of range, so 2000 to 5000 with a step of some 7. Okay, so list, so 2000, 2007, 2014, 2028, like that. So we got a list. So now in this one, let's say you wanted to do like, let's say uh, print out all the numbers which are even numbers or which are odd numbers, something like that. Okay, so for that one, if you wanted to write a function, okay, so let's say print all the numbers, print all the even numbers from the list. Okay, so for this one let's apply lambda function. So let me write the function name, even function. Okay, so this is my function name and followed by the keyword lambda. Okay, and to find out a number, okay, to find out a number is uh, even or odd, so we have to write a condition, right? So for example, like my parameter, let's say I'm putting some x. Okay, so we know x percentile by 2, okay, double equal to 0. So this kind of condition, if it is equal to 0, then it is going to be an even number, otherwise it is going to be an odd number. Okay, so let me execute this function. So even function, and it takes one parameter x. Okay, so if I say 10, so it is giving me true. Okay, true, stating that it is a even number. Okay, if I'm giving, let's say 11, gives false, it is not an even number. As I have given this double equal to 0, okay, we know that this is equal to operator. So when you are using the operators, the output will be true or false. Okay, so as I am putting double equal to 0, I am getting true or false. So let me remove this and let's see the output. So now the function itself x percentile by 2, and if I execute this, I'll get the remainder. Okay, I'll get the remainder. So give any number, so I'll get the remainder. So writing a condition, if you wanted to put a condition, you can put x percentile by 2 double equal to 0, so that it gives a function output as true or false. Okay, so whether that is a even number or odd number, that you can find it out. So to find out all, for all the numbers, okay, so for all the numbers in this list 1, okay, to find out, so generally what do we do for I in list 1? Okay, so if even function, so generally what we do is, if x percentile by 2, uh, I percentile by 2 double equal to 0, okay, then we say print uh, is a even number, something like this. I is an even number. Okay, so execute this one. So we get 2000, 2014, 2028, like that. So we got some information here, right? So this is how generally we do. But if I have to remove this condition, in place of this condition, I can use the lambda function, okay, or any function, not only lambda function. So for I in list 1, you can pass if even function of I. So even function takes one parameter, right? So in place of that parameter, I can pass that number, right? So when I'm using for loop, so each number will be passed here. Okay, each number will be passed here, and then once it is passed, you can print it. So it is going to give true or false, like this. Okay, so even function of a number, it is going to give us true or false. The same way here, if true and if false, the output of this even function of a number is going to be a boolean. So when I'm using if condition, so if is going to like consider this output, and if it is true, then it is going to print this particular output. Then if it is false, then it is not going to do same thing. So 2000, 2014, 2028, 2042, like that. Okay, so like this I can create the function and I can pass it anywhere. Okay, wherever I want I can use it. And similarly I can create a number of functions. Okay, so say for example, okay, list 2, I'll create list of range of 100, 0 to 300, okay, with a step of 3. So this is my list 2. Okay, so for every number, in list 2, add 300. Okay, so for every number in list 2 we need to add 300, let's say. So I will create a lambda function. So lambda, give a parameter. So I'll add the parameter with 300. Okay, so that's it. So I'm adding that particular parameter with the 300. So add 300 of, let's say, for 10. So 300 is added for 10. Okay, any number you pass. Okay, so add 300 of 3000. So 3300. So 300 plus 300 is added for that given number. So for every number, okay, for every number, if you wanted to add, okay, so what you can do is you can simply again you can use for loop for I in list 2. Okay, so you can do something like this: print add of 300 of I. Okay, so every number will be added with 300. So it starts with, so previously it is 0, 3, 6, 9 and all. Now it is 300, 303, 306, 309 and all, because I have passed that into a function. Okay, I passed that into a function. So like this I can use this lambda function and I can pass anywhere I want. But so there is one more thing, like there are other things called map and filter, which can simplify your tasks into more less. Okay, so instead of using for loop and all, so you can use this map filter and you can get the same output in simplified manner. Okay, so till now what did we do? So we have created a list. Okay, so list 1 and list 2, two lists we have created. So list 1 has a range of 2000 to 5000 with a step of 7. List 2 has a range of 0 to 300 with a step of 3. So there are two lists that we have created. So for these two lists we have did two tasks. One is to find out the even numbers from the list 1, and one is to, and other one is to add 300 to list 2. Okay, so for both cases we have used for loop. Okay, and using the for loop we are accessing each number, and once each number is accessed we are applying a function on that number, and based upon the function it is going to give the output, right? So similarly now we are going to simplify those both codes. Okay, those both piece of codes simplified into using map and filter. Okay, into more simpler cases. Okay, so map and filter. Okay, uh, so coming to the case 1. So first case, find even numbers from a list. Okay, this is our first case, right? So we have list 1, we have list 1 which is 2000, 2007, 2014 and all. So now what we'll do is we'll apply map. Okay, map is a predefined function in Python, so where it will apply a function to an iterable. Here iterable is nothing but list. Okay, so iterables are nothing but your data structures. So map of apply your function name, you can give your function which is even function. Okay, so even function applied on list 1. Okay, even function applied on list 1, and you can see a list of output. So you can see the output as true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false, like this. Okay, so basically what's happening is, so the first number is true, it is an even number. Second number, it is false, it is not an even number. Okay, so like that you are able to find out. So the thing is, like, this is map. Okay, map is giving you true and false like that. Okay, but similar case you can apply filter also, and you can see the difference between filter output and map output. So the difference between filter output and map output is, so in the map you are seeing true and false. Okay, true whether that particular is even or odd, it is saying true in the format of true or false. Okay, it is saying that that particular number is even number, true. uh, False means that particular number is not a even number. But in the case of filter, you will see the output directly 2000, 2014, 2028, 2042, like that. That means only even numbers are your output. This is the exact. So when you are using filter, you are getting exact output like above, right? So exact output like this: 2000, 2014, 2028, 42, 56, all the even numbers. Whatever the output that was printed from the for loop, the same output is being printed using filter. Okay. So if you want an exact output based upon the conditions, you can use filter. Okay. So that means here we can clearly see that using this function applied on this list one, so we are getting all the numbers which are even numbers. Okay, we are getting all the even numbers. And one more thing you might get confused. So I have used a list of this output. Okay, so if I am not using